Oh, it's not a cut. That's a slice.
Now this is a quack hook.
Oh,
Short
wow.
and into the right rough, headed to the trees.
Oh my God, it's a shank. He decided to re-tee. That's a shank. Oh, man.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another major championship preview edition of the Two-Way Miss podcast. Very happy that you can be joining us this evening, this morning, wherever you might be listening. Hopefully you're listening before very early in the morning, East Coast time, on Thursday, July 14th. But we got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about with the 150th Open, just mere hours away at this point, Banks. So we're both very excited about it. Glad you can be joining us. Hopeful as ever that you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free. We're one subscriber away from hitting the 20 mark. And then we're, just 6 away from 25. That'd be a big milestone for us. We appreciate everyone who's been listening and following the podcast. Continue to do so, and we'll get into some good stuff here. But good buddy Banksy, how you doing, man? How you been? I know we've seen each other very recently, which I was very happy about. But how's everything been going in the past few days?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Just soaking up the sun, playing some golf, and now after about 27 hours straight of live from the Open, I'm ready to watch some play here.
There you go. It's good stuff. I haven't been watching the golf channel. I have a lot of fun following all the writers and like podcast people that I follow on Twitter up to the Open. Cause again, I can't like throw on the golf channel for hours upon hours because my kids just will not allow it. It just won't happen. But I can sit on Twitter and get all like the clips of Tiger and Justin Thomas and Rory and all that. So that seems to be how I'm consuming my my pre-tournament content nowadays. I don't know how it compares to live from. Like I'm not sure what they're doing over there. What have they been talking about?
Probably all the same stuff. You hear the history of the course and what players did what, and what happened when, and things like that. I just watched a good short clip on Spieth, and that was 7 years ago, where he had an opportunity to win the first 3 majors, which at that time, well, still hasn't been done. But Ben Hogan was the last player to do that. So some of these dates, man, just when you go back and think about when some of this stuff happened, it doesn't seems like it was a year or two ago, and then it's 7. So, just getting random interviews from players and telling stories and guys on the range and just stuff like that. It keeps me entertained.
Yeah, I will say that
fourth time I see it in a row.
Yeah, the Open YouTube channel has been really great. So they have been they followed Tiger and Justin Thomas on their practice round and like had them almost practically mic'd up. Like they were so close to him with these microphones. You heard him talk about everything. And same with like that Champions kind of couple holes that they did where they had the little teams put together. And it was Tiger and Jack and Rory and Lee Trevino and then a woman whose name I don't know. But like, again, they had them all practically mic'd up. You could hear all their like small talk and banter and stuff like that. It's been fantastic
and that's the stuff we need. That's what people want to see. So that's I'll have to check that out. That's awesome that they're doing that. And that's exactly what golf needs. We want to hear these guys mic'd up and talking shit to each other and being able to play, having those generations of guys, being able to play with each other for a few holes, and that's neat. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But we're at the last major championship of the year. Obviously, very sad about that, but it looks to be a good one. The course is firm. Not predicted to get a ton of wind or crazy conditions, which is always no fun at the Open. But I think this is going to be one of the firmer, Open courses we've seen in the past while, which will be good because you really kind of see which guys can. That's a condition. Like it's a condition of the golf course, and it's not something that 90% of these guys play or know how to play. And that's why Tiger obviously used to be so good at it, is because he understood how, like, I might need to get the ball on the ground 25 yards before I want it where I want it to eventually end up. And that might mean it lands 25 yards short of the green. And these guys are used to playing, dart golf, which is where you just throw it, behind the pin and spin it back.
I saw somebody reported that Bryson DeChambeau hit a 300-yard 6-iron.
Yeah, that seems about right.
So just to put in perspective, when you say the course is dry and running,
they're running. Yep, they're running. That's for sure. So again, but that's the thing, right? They'll be able to do that all day, especially if the wind isn't picking up. They'll be able to bomb less than driver out there and sort of try and control as much as possible the swales that it hits, the undulations that it hits, because that's the thing about golf with the old course, is that you could hit one that's right down the middle, and then it ends up being 20 yards right of where you thought it was because it hit a certain mound a certain way or got a particular bounce off of one of the undulations. So the quicker you can get the ball on the ground and, able to sort of play those hills and things how you want to, the better. But it's really going to come down to the wedges and the short game. How are they going to be able to adjust how they usually play these shots for this course?
The greens will, the greens typically run a little slower. So I think we're going to see a lot of putts hold because the greens are a little slower. These guys can attack their putts. I think rolling at like a 10, maybe an 11. Which is a little slower than what these guys are used to seeing in major championships. So, look for a lot of putts to go in. And we got to remember the bunkers too. I mean, it's not too often you can go, even at our height, go into a bunker and have that bunker above your head.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always fun to watch, the bunker cams, and I don't think you quite put in perspective how tall those things are.
Unless you were really there.
It's like you're walking into your own grave, 6 feet under to try and get these golf balls out. So it's going to be it's always a great week, and to see these guys play the different shots that are necessary. It's all based on the conditions. If there's little light winds and not difficult conditions, you're going to see some really, really low scores.
So I think we can, go through our usual. We'll run up and down one of the odd sheets. We'll go through the tee times, talk about players we think are interesting. Go through our original picks, maybe make one or two other picks if we don't feel very good about the first ones. But let's run down the odd sheet first. See who DraftKings thinks is going to win this thing. So who do you think they have first, if you had to take a guess?
It's got to be Scheffler, Rory.
It is Rory. Well done.
Is it?
It is.
He's due, man.
It is Rory.
I got to stop knocking him because he's finally not playing like a scrub.
Yeah.
So, and when he's on, that's some damn good golf.
We just need him to.
So.
We just need him to pull it together. I mean, he's one of the few guys who has the access to like one of the greatest links players of all time. And I'm not sure how you could have that access and with his talent level not be able to translate it into something on these courses.
Yeah.
Like he freaking grew up in Ireland. Like this is where this golf exists. Like,
and Rory, he's out in the wedges a little bit. I think he's taking more club and swinging smoother with some of his wedges, and that seemed to allow him to control things a little bit more. And again, these slower-ish green speeds and the way Rory can hit the golf ball, he's due, man. He's due.
He certainly is. So next is Xander coming off the Scottish Open win. That has to be where he's getting that big bump from, because he was nowhere to be found
Yeah,
on these
that's not
leaderboards.
That's not happening.
Scotty Scheffler third. It's interesting. Did he play the Scottish Open?
I think so. I think he was there. I mean, he did. It's tough. The guys had zero conditions,
Right.
and it was like 82 degrees.
Right.
So, but Scotty's he's hanging around there. Okay. Where's Rom?
So next, JT and Spieth round out the top five in that order. Justin Thomas and then Jordan Spieth. And then the next five, John Rahm, Fitzpatrick, Cantlay for some reason, Shane Lowry, Cam Smith, Will Zalatoris.
Will. Okay. You know,
Cantlay,
Rob.
why is Cantlay in that list?
I have no idea.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what has he
Doesn't
shown
make sense.
in any tournament recently that he's like on form to be in the top 10 of this list?
Nothing.
That's really odd. Like, really out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking for Rom to put things back together a little bit. I mean, it's like ever since the Ryder Cup, ever since the Sunday match at the Ryder Cup, it's just been.
He's having these weird, bad rounds.
Yeah.
Like at the U.S. Open, he bogeyed the last hole on Saturday, I think, right? He was in the lead or something, and bogeyed the last two holes to kind of get out of that last group, get out of the final group, and then had just a stinker of a Sunday.
Yeah.
Which is usually not something he does.
So looking for him to get back in form a little bit.
I mean, I feel like Fitzpatrick's a great choice. If anybody can play in these conditions, I feel like, he can.
Yeah.
Like, we'll have to see. This is the one major I don't think he has those sort of top 10 or, top 5 finishes in. It seems like all the other ones he's gotten so close.
Yeah.
But again, just like a shot maker, there's the same thing with Fitzpatrick. It's what we saw at, the past few majors, that these guys can just hit all the shots that are necessary. JT, I'm a little surprised that JT isn't up there over somebody like a Scheffler.
Yeah, I know he won a major this year, and I know he played. The thing about JT with winning that major, like he played well, but the field also came back to him.
Yeah.
He hasn't been playing. Again, the consistency part of it hasn't been there. It's very up and down.
Yeah.
I think he's a better fast green putter. It'll be interesting to see if he has any issues adjusting to the green speeds.
Yeah.
Whereas Spieth, I think, with where his putting is right now, I think the slower-ish green speeds will benefit.
Yeah, I think the same for like a Morikawa, who generally isn't the best putter, but when you're able to give something a little bit more speed and to kind of really commit to your line, I feel like that it allows you to take a smoother putt. It allows you to kind of work through that. It'll be interesting even for Zalatoris how that might help him out. He just puts it so damn close to the hole most of the time that he, his putting hasn't hindered him too much.
He just lets the figure eight take.
That's
care
right.
of the rest.
Just let it take hold.
But yeah, can't wait to see the old course. It's always a special treat. See that golf course, and now more than ever, we'll have every camera angle, every nook and cranny of that course is going to be visible to us. So
I figured out why Cantlay is so high. He went T4 at the Scottish. But again, like, that's one tournament. I don't know why it was such a big deal. But all right, so let's get into who we picked to win this tournament at the start of the year. We went through all the majors. We picked our initial thoughts on who was going to win it. We have not been close. We realized before we started the show that we have not been close. Good thing we haven't been recommending bets or anything on this show. We have not been close with our winner picks, but this was an interesting one because we both picked the same person. Mr. Jordan Spieth was our pick for the 150th Open Championship at St. Andrews. Top 5 in the odds. So, a good
I'm
start.
Keeping it.
Where did I just had him? He finished, I think, in the top 10 of the Scottish Open. Let me see. Yeah, tied for 10th, but at 5 shots off. So just okay. I think outside of our hope that Tiger Woods wins it, I think I'm with you. I'm still happy with this. I'm gonna let it ride.
And
I was gonna try and wait until we got to the tee times until we jumped into Tiger, but it's all
Tell you
good.
what,
Let's
man.
just do it.
It's the thing with Tiger is, and I know the guy he's beat down. Like he's old.
Yep.
He's been through some ridiculous situations.
Yeah.
I mean,
enough for a few lifetimes.
like, the you go back to 2009. He's crashing Escalades into trees. He's driving down the highway at 3:00 in the morning, thinking he's going to a golf tournament in Los Angeles. He's rolling cars off road. Like, if you go back and you think about what this dude has been through, and he still looks good, right? Like, he still looks good. He's still in amazing physical shape, other than obviously his legs.
Yeah.
He looks great on the range. He's like that dude. Like, he looks so good on the range, and you're like, man, you do it.
This might be the thing you love about him the most. Is like the Nike stuff, and just whenever he walks up to anywhere, he
looks like he's there to own the place and to win.
Yeah.
And then they have the camera on the range, and he's hitting every shot imaginable on the range. You're like, man, he's gonna do it.
I mean, he's played so much golf,
and then
he's been going out. Yeah, he's been going out for 18-hole practice rounds. He went and played like a extra round or two in other courses in Scotland, like with Rory and Justin Thomas. And he's just like, a lot of people are saying it, and I think they're correct, is that he knows he's got a long pause after this. Like, this is the last thing of his season, and he's going to have a lot of rest time. So he is just going balls to the wall this week. He's going to make sure like no stone is unturned, that he gets prepared as much as possible, and he's just going for it.
I do love the reporter. Are you retiring? And he was, no. I'm not retired. So whatever gas is left in the tank, like, he still wants to play, which is good for us because he's gonna at least continue to show up to certain tournaments.
Yeah, a couple tournaments a year. Yep.
Whether he ever plays in a non-major again, I guess that'll all just
I wouldn't care
how that body feels. Like, we have no idea how that leg actually feels. It looks disgusting.
Oh yeah, looks painful.
But we don't know how that leg actually feels and what toll it takes on his body walking 4 rounds of competitive golf.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this obviously a while ago after his injury and when he was starting to talk about coming back. It seems like in the practice rounds, he's swinging very deliberately. And I mean that in a good way, that he's obviously not trying to like crush everything. He's not trying to like match the speeds of these other guys that he's standing around. He seems to be very purposely taking easy swings, just trying to like get the reps in. And then when it turns to like tournament time, I know he's like on adrenaline and his body can't catch up to that now. The adrenaline's causing him to take these shots or twist on that leg too much or get too quick, and which causes him to have to put too much pressure on that front leg. It's stuff like that. Like, I wish he could just go out there and just swing like that when the tournament starts. And especially at a place like this, where, like you said, the thing's going to roll forever. He could just take easy long irons, maybe a 3-wood here or there, and he'll be perfectly fine. He's still one of the greatest wedge players like we've ever seen. I just wish that he could. Again, it's very difficult for a guy who's Tiger Woods, who has been able to go out and do these things for his entire life, to kind of. It's tough to close that tap once it's open.
Uh-huh.
But man, I just wish he could find a way to allow himself to swing that way, so his leg could hold up the best possible, like as much as possible, for 4 rounds. We saw it in the Masters. We saw it at the PGA. It only takes one little slip, one swing that gets too quick, and he puts too much pressure on that leg, and you just see like everything changes. Fairly enough. I'm not bashing the guy or saying like he's not tough. He's obviously incredibly tough and enduring an unbelievable amount of pain, I'm sure, and uncomfortableness to be able to play in these tournaments. But like, just take 5 miles per hour off your swing speed and just hit it. Like, just get it out there, man, and just rely on you're the best iron player we've ever seen, and you'll be fine.
And maybe he knows that. Again, fast and firm golf course. Yeah, maybe we'll see that.
I'm just hoping that we can do it just so he can be as healthy as possible going into a weekend. Obviously, he's made the cuts that we've wanted him to make, but he has been gassed on Saturday and Sunday.
100%.
And whether that's just the difficulty of walking that much for 4 days, add on to that, again, just one swing that gets too quick. Like at the Masters, he pulled that one iron off a tee, or he pulled that one driver off a tee, and you saw that he tried to catch his whole body with that leg, and It was just like, like that wasn't a good idea. That was not a good idea, Tiger. And the rest of the time, he's got to like limp around, and like his leg was going outwards, like while he was walking down steps. Remember that picture?
Oh yeah.
He like gets to the Sky Sports thing at the U.S. Open, and he's leaning on the TV because he can't put any more weight on his leg. Like, just give yourself a chance, man. I don't know. That's all I want. That's all I want. I want a healthier Tiger Woods on the weekend. I don't know what it's going to do. He's not going to win most likely, but like, it's just let us still be excited that you have a chance.
Right.
That's all we're asking for. So let's go through a couple of these names quickly before we get to the tee times, and we can talk about who's interesting to us. But let's just look at this top 10. And do we think Xander has a chance?
No.
Okay. I tend to agree with you. Do we think Scotty has a chance? Do we think he has a better chance than Xander?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do we think Rahm has a chance?
Yeah, I mean, you have to say yes.
Okay.
The game hasn't been in form lately, but yes.
Do we think Cam Smith has a chance?
He showed. No.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I think he kind of used up all that juju at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
Do we think go ahead.
Also, hey Cam, what's your practice routine like? Oh, well, I hit a few balls, here and there. So, yeah.
Do we think Willie Boy has a chance? No. I'm going to say yes.
You would.
I think he's got a chance.
All right, you could have him.
Do we think Morikawa has a chance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
These next three are pretty good. Do we think Dustin Johnson has a chance?
No.
Nope. Yep, that's right.
That dude hasn't touched a golf club.
Nope.
Is he even there? Is he even there yet? Is he gonna make
I don't know. I don't think I've seen him on any of these YouTube videos. I'm not sure.
Has that jet landed yet?
Yeah, right. They might just be flying around.
That floating
till tonight. They're just flying around till tonight, and then they'll get off and go to their tea times in the morning.
That banquet hall.
Yeah.
That floating banquet hall that they have.
Do we think Finau has a chance?
No.
Tommy Fleetwood.
Man, that guy. Do we think Phil Mickelson has a chance of breaking 80?
Maybe.
79.
Yep. Yeah, I might take the over. Man, yeah, that's a guy who hasn't been grinding.
That's a joke. That situation. That's such a joke.
I know. We're gonna keep it positive though. We're not gonna talk about that garbage.
Okay.
All right, let's run through the tee times. Let's talk about some guys.
So who did anybody have a chance? I feel like I said no.
Scotty, you said has a chance.
Yes.
I think that was the only guy you said has a chance.
No, Morikawa has a chance.
Morikawa, you said he has a chance, yes. So 2 out of like 13.
And Rom.
That's right. Yeah, 3 out of 13.
Okay, that's better.
There you go. See, it's not all bad.
I'm comfortable with that.
All right, so let's see here. Let's look for the first little Phil Mickelson going off at 7:30, playing with nobodies. Nobody cares.
7:30 here.
7:30 a.m. That might be local time.
I think that's local time.
That's local time. That would be local time.
But like you said, nobody cares.
Bryson DeChambeau going with John Daly is fantastic. That's great. I love that. Cam Smith and Koepka playing together. Molinari, Fleetwood, and Rose. That's an interesting little group there. I forgot Francisco Molinari won one of these things. Did you remember that?
He beat Tiger.
Yeah.
He just hit the ball so freaking straight.
I forgot about that until I saw him in the Champions Dinner photo.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Which Greg Norman was not in.
That's right. On purpose.
On purpose. We are.
Yep. It's good stuff.
We lost your invitation.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Greg. We mailed it to you. I don't know what happened. All right, here's the first go to it. 9:58 a.m. Morikawa, McIlroy, and Schauffele. That's the first good one. Followed up with Lowry, Thomas, and Hovland. So kind of back-to-back pretty good ones there. Man, kind of 3 in a row. The next one after that, Zalatoris, Matsuyama, Finau. That's a good little 3-stack there, right after the other. Nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. Probably your best grouping, in the morning.
What do you mean? Where's Tiger? What are you reading?
This is local time. This is local time, people.
Oh, okay.
This is local time. So we're gonna keep on scrolling. Get to our next little group here. So let's see. Man, I don't even know. Like Scotty Scheffler going up. I mean, with Joaquin Neiman and Tyrrell Hatton. Like, all right, whatever. Who cares? Let's keep going. All right, here we go. Tiger Woods, Matt Fitzpatrick, Max Homa. That's a good one. I like that a lot. Right after that, Spieth, Rahm, Harold Varner for some reason.
Harold Varner.
Obviously, Spieth and Rahm good. Right after that, Cantlay, Burns, and Pereira. Mito Pereira.
Okay.
That might be your last. That's the last good tee time. Well, really, the last good tee time is Spieth, Rahm, and Varner. So that'll be your featured groups for the afternoon after those couple we highlighted in the morning. I don't think there's a ton of other groups that I would want to watch.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a crap ton of coverage. What is it? 3 a.m. to
4 a.m. to
4 p.m. or something?
yeah, something crazy on Peacock, that streaming app. I think it'll probably be on the open.com.
USA, if people are still
Yeah, look, they
watching.
already have featured groups up. Lowry, Thomas, Hovland is going to be one of them. Morikawa, McIlroy, Schauffele will be another one. Yeah, so they'll have featured group coverage on the open website. That's all I'll be watching.
Yeah.
It'll be good stuff. So do we need to say anything else about Mr. Tiger? What do we, is there anything else we need to talk about? I'm really happy he's here.
He's going to make the cut.
This
agree. This is actually the tournament back in winter, early spring. You thought he would be coming back for.
I did.
This would be his first appearance. It's just he has. You want to say he has a chance because he's not going to be limited necessarily by length factor. Like, he's going to be able to hit stingers that roll out 70 yards.
Yep.
He's going to, we're going to see is his wedge game dialed in. I mean, I know he played the 2 rounds at the JP Morgan fundraiser, and he's just out dicking around.
Yeah.
He looked awful.
I mean, yeah, but it seems like this week he's really been knuckling down.
That's a fun
charity.
Right. He's taking pictures but yeah, I mean, being over there for that extended time for these last couple of weeks, getting honed in, I think he knows. I mean, whether he knows, in his mind, he thinks he can win this week.
Of course.
There might not be you can't count him out because as limited as his maybe driving is going to be based on just the physical limitations of his body, he can still hit wedges and he can still putt.
And there might not be a golfer on the planet that has a better rapport with this course than Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Like, really, if you think about it, there's not an active golfer that has a better track record with this course than Tiger Woods. Like, I bet there's not another golfer who feels as confident as he does on a course like this. And all that has to be a factor.
Yeah, what was that, 2000 when he didn't go in a single bunker? What do you think the betting line for that is? Like, what would you put down Tiger not going in a bunker again this week?
This week it would have to be pretty high.
Pretty high, right?
I feel like he's not as dialed as he was in 2000.
Yeah. So when you ask if there's anything left to say about Tiger, the answer is always.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's a fair point.
So who else do you expect to play well? Who are we expecting to play well? I mean,
it's a good question. I think there's always going to be a couple guys who are going to come out of nowhere, and we're just going to never know who they are. They'll be on that first page of the leaderboard the first 2 days, just like they were at the U.S. Open, and then eventually they'll kind of fall off the cliff as they're expected to.
Are we feeling Rory this week? I know we picked Spieth, and I'm okay keeping that pick, but are we going to see a 4-day Rory?
I'm expecting Justin Thomas to play well.
Okay.
I'm expecting Zalatoris to play well. And I think we can expect Spieth to play well.
If the wind was picking up a little bit, I'd almost like Justin Thomas's chances better.
Yeah.
Because we know different trajectories that he can hit.
Yeah.
his golf ball. Other than that, he just hasn't quite had it.
Yeah, I just maybe feel like that where it
You
might not
can't count him
be.
out. Yeah.
I think this is the same with Spieth. I think that, or I'm hoping, I guess. I mean, I'm hoping this a little more for Thomas than Spieth. I think Spieth knows how to play this style of golf and won't have to be convinced very hard to hit the shots that he's required to hit. I think Thomas, on the other hand, and we talked about this previously, but like this might be where having Bones continues to be a really big deal for him. Bones has obviously played in a bunch of these opens, specifically at St. Andrews. And where I think this is where Thomas having the capability to hit these shots, combined with hopefully Bones convincing him to put it in the right places, that's going to be where we see his ability to hit these different types of shots come through more so than. And I think Rahm is getting to this point. Rahm, for as much as we talk about him being so consistent, he hasn't shown the ability to really kind of knuckle down in these harsh conditions like this, even though it's not going to be super windy, but it's not your typical course. He hasn't really proven to us that he can play in this type of stuff. So I think it'll be really interesting to see him as well, see if he can hang around. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know. He's possibly like the best driver of the golf ball on the planet right now, but this is a tournament that's not gonna be a thing because the ball is just gonna roll so much that you're gonna have to get the ball on the ground as quickly as possible and let it run. But then it's just gonna be all about where do you leave yourself.
I think the longest shot with a putter is going to be this week. You can hit
75 yards.
Basically the fairway. You think 75 yards?
Yeah, I would set the over-under at 75.
75-yard putt?
Yeah.
Boy, that'd be freaking awesome.
Somebody's going to do it.
Somebody will do it.
Yeah. So I think we can wrap up with talking about a little bit about the course itself. I mean, we're not. I don't think we need to go through hole by hole because this, especially if you're not that into golf, it's difficult to describe the quirkiness of this course. Like where almost more than half the greens like share, almost where half the greens are just huge greens with two flags on them, and when you're coming from a certain hole, you aim at this flag. When you're coming from a different hole, you aim at this one. It's difficult. Like you said, there's 150 odd bunkers on the whole course, or 110, something like that. Just a lot.
Craziness.
But not all of which you can see from everywhere. They're just in these places that you just have to strategically work around. Obviously, it's something like the road hole where these guys are hitting over a hotel. It's obviously very cool, but it's a little jarring to watch this course for the first time, or when you really start to get into it and kind of look into the hole by hole, you can kind of be like, well, wait, they crisscross over here, and then this one shares a green with this one, and like there's just a fence over there that's out of bounds because that's a hotel, and then this one over here is because it's the ocean, and like it's all over the place.
And the amount of roll that you're going to see out of the golf ball for people that don't know, and it's going to be amazing to see how far some of these golf balls roll, and how the terrain almost funnels the golf balls into the bunkers. And like we had said earlier, these bunkers, I mean, they're standing six. I mean, you're down in them and you can't see out of some of them.
Yeah, and sometimes the best way to get out of it is to go backwards.
So you might see, if you're watching for the first time, you'll see some weird stuff.
And it's okay that it's brown. It's supposed to be. It's not like golf courses in the United States where people, everyone tries to make them as green as possible. It's supposed to look that color because that's how these golf courses play. But I think if you are, and I think it's specifically relevant for the people who listen to this show, if you're not into golf, or just getting into it, or this show has allowed you to get more into it, this is good. Like, just try and just sit back and absorb as much information as possible on this one. I think when you talk about like the Country Club, or what was the other one for the PGA Championship, Southern Hills, it's like, listen, they were cool golf courses. I was pleased with them. I was pleased with how they played, but they're not like life-changing golf courses. This course is a life-changing golf course. We will eventually make it there, you and I. We're going to do it. But for those of you, just maybe this is your first Open Championship that you're watching, maybe you've watched it a little bit but just haven't seen something like this course, because obviously they only play it every 5 or 6 years. Just try and sit back and absorb as much as possible. Really try, like, have the website up with the hole by hole pictures, and, you know, think about what's going on when your favorite player is playing a certain hole. It's a worthwhile exercise, and I think it'll help you get the context of why so many people get so excited about this course. Why, if you watch live from, these guys are so amped up to talk about it. Why, if you listen to any other golf podcast, why the people who have been there before talk about it with such reverence. It is that cool. You know, it'll be weird. It's weird at first, but it's worth it if you want to just sit back and try to absorb as much information about a style of golf that is just very foreign to us who live here in the United States.
Well said, sir. Well said.
So let's go through. So our official picks are still Jordan Spieth.
Keeping him.
Do we want to give a runner-up pick?
The first loser. Is
Yep.
that what second place is?
Yep.
No, I don't know. Rom.
All right. Man, I don't know who to pick. I'm going to say Fitzpatrick. I'm going to say Fitzy Boy.
Okay.
Does it for us.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes. Please, nobody put money on those choices, because obviously we've been very wrong for the last 3 of them.
We are horrible at
Yep,
this.
it's a good thing that we don't put any money on sports betting. It's a good thing. But I mean, hey, anything else you're excited about? You want to touch on before we get going here?
This is probably the only time of the year where I'm excited to set my alarm and have it go off at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited to turn my alarm on, get up, and watch these guys. Because this, as you said, this tournament, this golf course, it's not like nothing you've ever seen before, and you can't even get an idea of how the links plays unless you go over there and play. You know, you can play courses around here that say they're links golf courses, but you have no idea what a links golf course is.
They're not
until you go over and would play a links golf course. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. You know, all the cameras, all the shot tracers, and added microphones, and all the featured groups, all the different platforms you can watch this golf tournament on. Take advantage of it, because it's going to be awesome, and you're not going to see this golf course again for multiple years. So don't waste it.
That's
and
right.
Enjoy.
All right. Well, everyone, we hope you enjoy watching the next 4 days of golf as much as we are. We will be back next week to recap the entire thing. I'm sure we'll have some great stuff to talk about. This tournament always produces some good storylines, some great champions. So be excited to walk everything back, take a look at our picks, take a look at what the stuff we talked about and everything that happened over the next 4 days next week. We appreciate everyone out there for listening to the podcast, watching the podcast on YouTube. Again, if you do like watching the podcast on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's completely free. We're working our way up that subscriber count on the YouTube channel. Please continue to subscribe or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate everyone that listens, watches, whenever, wherever. We hope that you enjoy the next 4 days of the Open Championship at St. Andrews. As always, go Tiger, and
Swing hard, everyone.
that's right. Have a good night, everybody.
Oh, it's not a cut. That's a slice.
Now this is a quack hook.
Oh,
Short
wow.
and into the right rough, headed to the trees.
Oh my, that's a shake. He decided to re-tee, that's a